Hello people, this is Sonali, the Melodramatic Bookworm. If you've been here before, welcome back, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to the Melodramatic Bookworm family. Also welcome to the reading vlog for the April 2025 subscriber pick, which is The Vegetarian by Han Kang. For those of you who don't know, subscriber picks are reading vlogs in which every month you choose a book for me to read and vlog and share my thoughts about with you. This book was my first purchase of 2025 and I'm so glad that you chose this book for me to read and vlog about. And I know that I am ready to be devastated and shaken and whatever else that The Vegetarian has in store for me. But before we start reading, the blurb as usual. Yongai and her husband are ordinary people. He is an office worker, she is a dutiful wife. But their marriage is interrupted when Yongai, seeking a more plant-like existence, commits a shocking act of subversion. She refuses to eat meat. Thus begins a disturbing and thrilling psychological drama about taboo, desire, rebellion and fantasy. Now, I cannot wait to start reading this, literally. So, without any further ado, let's dive right into this reading vlog and let's start reading the subscriber pick for the month of April 2025, which is The Vegetarian by Han Kang. This husband is pissing me off. So before I give you my updates on The Vegetarian, I wanted to say that I forgot to mention in my introduction the translator of this work. This book has been translated from the Korean into English by Deborah Smith, and I forgot to mention that in the intro, so I just wanted to correct that before moving on to my updates. This book, the end of part 1 just had me going. I finished part 1 a couple of days ago and I haven't picked it back up since then because I wanted to, put all my thoughts out there, although all those thoughts are also ones of shock. What is going on in this book? Okay, so this book is about a married couple, but the story is being told from the husband's perspective, and his wife has just gone vegetarian. Just cold turkey, one day in the morning, she decided to go vegetarian and she started throwing out all the meat, all the animal products also that were there in their house. Like even milk she discarded, and she cannot even stand the smell of meat anymore. And she's been having dreams. What she tells him is this is because she's had a dream. And although we see what her dreams are about, it kind of feels a little abrupt in a way. There is no particular reason. She is not telling us about those dreams in any straight sentences, because I feel like that dream, that nightmare more like, is sort of pulling her into a panic that makes her just not want to say anything. And things go to a point where I was staring at the pages in horror at what was going on, at how the people around her, especially her husband, who is a kind of an redacted. Yes, I get that it's an arranged marriage, but after a point, you start getting attached to the other person. You don't treat them like this. And the way this guy is just so self-centered, he just doesn't see anything other than himself. He's not prepared to, give any grace to his wife, to even talk to her, to be gentle with her, to ask her, ki, what happened suddenly? Like, what made you take such a drastic decision? Because in their culture, in Korean culture, it is a drastic decision. But no, he's just throwing judgments and harsh words left, right and center. He's getting angry. He's just annoyed that she's not catering to him. I had to calm myself down so many times in these first 52 pages that I didn't know where this was going to go. And now that that chapter has ended, and once that part ended, I was like, whatever I was thinking, wherever I thought that chapter was going to go, this was not that. You're reading something for a while and then something happens that it just completely twists whatever is there in your mind. It turns you confused and it turns you into a sort of a blubbering mess, a shocked blubbering mess that you don't know what to do with what you know. So I don't know how much time I will take to read this book. I feel like it's going to take some time because of how intense this book is and how terrifying in a lot of ways. This is a 180 page book. Look at how short this is. And ideally I can finish it in like 4-5 hours, but the way this book will pull you in, it will keep you there, it will keep rendering those shocks upon shocks upon shocks to you. That is something that I don't know how to handle at this moment in time, at least. So that's where I'm at with The Vegetarian. And oh my god, call it The Shockatarian or something. That was bad, but that's how it feels like reading this book. I'm halfway through this book. I'm literally on page 91 and I still don't know what to think of it. It isn't going that deep for me to actually understand where all the motivations lie, yet at least. Because in the first part we saw her becoming vegetarian, but it was all told from her husband's perspective. And we saw his biases, his self-centeredness, and we saw everything that's about him. We don't see a lot about her except for the fact that she stopped eating meat because she had a dream. That's all that we see. And of course we see her spiral and we see all of that happening, but we don't exactly know the reason, the root as to why. And I was like, okay, it's just the first part. We have the rest of the book to find out what exactly is going on with her. But when the second part started and we see a different male figure in her life and we see her from his perspective, which kind of, it made me like, okay, I know what's going on and I don't want to say what exactly that is because that could be a part of the entire, I don't want to say story because it obviously is, but it could be a part of what builds up the actual crux of the story. So I want to wait, but I also am a bit and it's making me feel like I don't want to pick this book up, but I do keep picking it up, and at every time I'm reading just maybe 8 pages, 10 pages, that's all. I'm unable to move forward because I'm not finding that hook. I'm not finding that thing that keeps me inside. Hopefully this will get better. See, I'm not saying this is a bad book so far. I'm just saying that it's there. I want to read it. And I am very interested in what the relationships in this book are, what her own relationship with herself is. But other than that, there's not much of an attraction going on. And I wanted there to be something that kept pulling me back to the story. I wanted there to be something that made me think that I can't wait to read this book. And all I can think of at this point is, now I have to open the book again and read about that. I wanted to be more specific and I went through 1,000 things in my head, but all that came out was that. So that is where I'm at with this book right now. I understand that this very rambly update doesn't make much sense because I can't make proper sense. There are things in place, but there are no threads connecting those things in place yet. So I'm like, where is this book going? But then again, there are only about 90 more pages for this book to go, and I'm hoping against all hopes that it picks up pace and things get clearer, which I see. I'm on both sides. I'm playing the seesaw kind of thing. Like, I want clarity, but I also know that it will take time for clarity. I need to have all the facts for clarity, but I also want them ASAP. This is wrong on so many levels. What the heck is this fellow doing? Do not even say it's for the art. Do not. Ugh. I don't have words for this, because what do you call it? How can you put a name to it? Because whatever's been going on, it comes from a very dark place, a very taboo place. I mean, yes, the book tells us before you even start that thus begins a disturbing and thrilling psychological drama about taboo, desire, rebellion, and fantasy. Yes, but the level to which this is going, I mean, this is something that you see every day, but to see it in this context, it sort of, that is something that I absolutely hate. If someone does it, I will hold it against them for a long time. I don't know where it's going to go. I have about 60 more pages to go, and I don't know where the author is going to take the story, and I really want to know. So maybe I'll finish this book today, because now it's picked up. I want to know what's going on, but I also feel like whenever a part of the story ends and a new part begins, it takes some time to get back into that, speed, into that pace of storytelling, and I cannot tell where it's going to go. I am disgusted on a certain level, but I'm also intrigued. I want to know what's going on, what happened, where origin of all the story, an explanation of the origin, what are the consequences, what are the characters going to do, what is going to happen to the main character, which I feel her pain on a level I cannot explain. At the end of my previous update, I was prepared to give this book a 3 stars. I mean, I know that I was just at halfway through the book, but I was like, this is going to be a solid 3 at the very least. But now at this point, it has gone up a little, and I'm thinking 4. I don't know if I should be giving stars at every checkpoint, but then again, that's how I see how the book is progressing, and that's how I track the story progression, and to see how it's making sense along the way. That's not the only way, but it is a way. At least that's how I'm working with the book here. So I'll see you once I have any update to give you. I'm thinking I'm going to finish this book today. I feel like I've said that before just like a minute ago, but if there's something extremely shocking that happens, you'll see an update before the final one. It's the day after I finished reading The Vegetarian, and I feel like I have a grasp on what this book was trying to do, but I still feel a little unbalanced when it comes to what I actually think of the book, because this is a book in which the main character, she suddenly decides to become a vegetarian, and what happens, what kind of butterfly effect it has on her life and on her agency is what this book is about. But when you're reading this book, it doesn't come across as such. It will make you feel a little confused as to what is going on. But when you move back and when you look at it from a distance in time, and when you think about what has been going on in this book, what went on, because this story is not told not by the woman who turned vegetarian, but by the people in her life. First, her husband, an ass of a man. Second, her brother-in-law. And third, her sister. So when these people talk about how they see her and how they see her decisions, we see that Yongai doesn't have much of agency in her life. So when it comes to becoming vegetarian, it is just one facet of her life in which her agency is overridden by all these 3 people who are trying to put their own spin of control on her life. So how does she feel when she's constantly in this mode, when she's constantly being told what to do? People are demanding things of her. People are asking her what's wrong, but they are never trying to listen to what she's saying, because she does try throughout the book. It doesn't move more forward than that. There are parts of the book which, while I was reading the book, they felt like they were worse than others, but when I'm here, I'm trying to put my feelings into words, to put my thoughts into words, I cannot actually put a finger on it, because there's not just one place. The entirety of this book, the entirety of Yongai's feelings, the entirety of what the people in her life are asking her to do, all of it is scary, it's terrifying, and in a way it's so psychologically devastating that there is no one way to put it. And there's a very interesting thing that happens when you're reading this book. When in the first part, when you're reading it from the perspective of her husband, you immediately see that he is being an ass. Personally, I hate him the most, because he is someone who's supposed to know her feelings, who's supposed to take into consideration her feelings, but he's so self-centered. There's nothing going on apart from him saying, I, me, myself, like she's not looking after me, I don't know what to say to her to bring her back. He doesn't see her as a person, instead he sees her as a way to make his own life easier. So it's a place where a lot of women are in at the moment, with a husband like that. And that first part, you get angry at the husband, and in the second part, you get angry at the brother-in-law. There's no two ways about it, because these two men are so insistent on looking at things from their own perspectives. Given the brother-in-law is probably, I can't even make a comparison of those two, because each is bad in their own ways. But then when it comes to her sister, things shift and change. You feel the pain emanating from the pages, and yet you do understand that even through all of their empathy, all of compassion, there might not be much help. So when you see Inhai and Yongai interacting, you feel like, you know what, that's not going to help her that much. So I know what Inhai is trying to do. She wants to help her sister, but so there's a uniformity throughout the book, but you also understand that each part is so devastating, it's so debilitating in its own way, that you see Yongai's pain. It becomes a living, breathing thing that is coming off of the pages, and it takes your mind and your heart, and it just stays there. Yes, I will say that the writing was a little side for me, and maybe it was because there was so much pain in the story that I didn't feel like going back to it. It was always with a sense of, oh my god, what's going to happen next. It's that feeling that comes over you that makes you think like you are going to faint, because all of those feelings, those emotions are so bearing down on you. They are so solid, they are so intense that you just don't want to be feeling all of that. But also it is important for you to read and feel whatever the characters are feeling. So I know that is what this book does. It has your feelings all over the place, that you cannot collect yourself soon enough to make sense of this book just after you finish reading it. So you've got to take some time to think, you've got to take some time to understand exactly where Yonga is coming from and what exactly is it that she has gone through to come to a position of this. Turning vegetarian, stopping eating meat is just the beginning. So yes, that's what I think of The Vegetarian by Han Kang. I like the book, but I do not love it. I feel like the writing is good, but it could have been a lot better. The story in itself is powerful, it's solid. It is a great allegory of telling a lot of important points, especially related to women's agency and individualism. And I feel like I will think about this book for a long time to come, and maybe in a few years, not anytime soon, I will also reread this book, who knows. So let me know if you have read The Vegetarian and what you thought of it and what you thought of this reading vlog. I'll see you in the next video. Until then,